haunts you, keeps you up at night. A new venue means a clean slate, a fresh start. But what does year 2 on the same mountain mean?
He's so ambitious. The idea that he had last year wasn't able to finish it off.
It means 364 days to reflect.
Goes down after a flawless run. And once again, visibly frustrated.
Reflect on what went right.
Rheeder, the Rampage champion.
What went wrong. For some, the torment lasts longer. But whether last year was victorious or just vicious, none of that matters now. Because the past is the past, and the history book has a blank page. With 21 potentials, but room for only one.
Friends around the world, welcome to 3 of the hottest dudes on the internet taking a trip back in time to Zion, Utah for the legendary Red Bull Rampage. 3 of the hottest dudes. My name, I'm the least hot of the 3, and I've never stood on a podium at the Rampage, but I do like to talk about these things. My name is Sal Masekela. But enough about me, because I got legends in the building. When Red Bull hit me up and they were like, hey, do you want to do a little look back? I was like, I'll do a look back, but I need legends. I need like real legends of the sport that want to hang out with me, not because they're told they have to hang out with me. And they said, well, there's only 2 that want to hang out with you. Carson Storch and Darren Berrecloth. I said, they'll do. What up, Darren?
How's it going, bud? How you hanging on?
I'm hanging on. I'm excited that we get to party together and pretend like we're someplace else, like we're at one of the greatest places on earth. This event for me, since I started going to Rampage in 2013, has just changed. It's reorganized my shuffle in what the greatest events in sports are, and especially at action sports. For me, this is as comparable as when I get to go to Pipeline and do the Vulcan Pipe Pro or go to the Pipe Masters. It's the best of the best in any one sport on a playing field that where no one can hide, which you know from having been on the podium.
Absolutely. It's our Super Bowl out there, and mountain bikers, we look forward to it every single year. And, it's just great to, like yourself, it's rad to look back at last year's event and commentate, get a bit of a different insight. As myself and Carson, we're both, he's still competing, and I hung up the towel a little while back. And we got a little more insight for you guys to have a little bit of a behind the story. And I'm pretty excited. How are you, Carson?
Yeah, I'm just chilling, man. Just at home in Bend. The sun is out, and I'm sitting inside, but hopefully not for long. And stoked to be here. Stoked to relive Rampage 2019. It was a really good year, and some wild stuff went down.
Nice, man. Well, I appreciate you joining. We got Venice Beach, California, Vancouver Island, and Bend, Oregon. That's like the perfect shred triangle. That we could ask for. Welcome inside of my kitchen. For those of you that are watching around the world, you can get involved with us. Hit us up with some questions, and we'll do our best to ask them. And right now, we're taking a look at the one and only living legend, man, Zeke. He's in headspace for his first run.
It's always daunting task. Some years just chopped off some biggest history, and guys a lot serious guys.
All right, we're having a little bit of audio issues with the claw. First time for everything, folks. Carson, while we get him sorted out, jump on in here with Cam's backflip there.
Yeah, step down flip was definitely a heinous one. I know it was super blind and mid run, huge move, and yeah, coming down into the biggest feature in his line, which was this flat drop. He fronted the jump before it, which was kind of a setup jump and definitely a risky move. And unfortunately, couldn't pull it, couldn't bring it around and get to the wheels. And it was a bummer to see, but that's classic, typical Cam Zink, just going balls to the wall. And yeah, I just wanted him to get to that big drop so he could spin it with me.
What is it that makes that popping off that front wheel so much harder for the front flip, especially when you're using such a critical trick for a setup to something insane?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the best person to talk to about front flips because I decided a long time ago to never do them, and I suck at them. But I know on a big bike, it's super hard to get the snap, and I don't know if that jump was the best, if it had the best lip, it was the best setup to toss a fronty. But yeah, Zink definitely went for it. We got Bienve here, Spaniard. He's wild.
My favorite name to say at the event.
Yeah.
Alba, who was like, I'm just gonna send a fronty right from the start.
Yeah, super heavy move just to pull off that pre-built feature at the top of the course there. Relatively small drop, and yeah, I can't imagine fronting a flat drop because that's something I just do not do. But definitely a wild move, and Bienve's the man.
It's a tough one. I'll tell you that. That's for Dave.
There he is.
Me again. I'm back.
There you go.
Absolutely. I broke my back once trying to front flip on a jump, so I definitely know it's a tough one to chew off. And seeing him being able to do them like with ease on the slopestyle bike and then trying to do it on the DH bike, it's definitely a little bit more difficult just with all that suspension. But he's killing it out there from a guy coming from the slopestyle scene. I don't know. What do you think, Carson?
Totally, yeah. Like he's definitely honed in on his big bike skills the past couple of years, and it's really cool to see. He's turned into a really solid rider on the downhill bike, and he honestly has some of the craziest tricks in the game on the small bikes, doing double fronties and front flip tsunamis and just crazy stuff. And actually at Dark Fest, at the first Fest Series stop of the year, he got best trick for doing a tsunami front flip on a huge jump. And
yeah,
he's a madman for sure. And it's really cool to see him out here.
Skills. You know, he's looked super confident on that big bike. It's great to see.
Totally.
What is it like for people at home? What is that transition like to go to the big bikes and then in turn be able to bring those technical tricks to the big bike? What's the difference?
Well, like right there, it's a perfect example. If he was on a slopestyle bike, he would have landed that minus, the landing would have been hard just because he doesn't have the suspension on the actual landing. But generally, he would have stomped that on his hardtail. No problem.
Totally. Yeah, it's just so much harder to get the snap on a big bike for pretty much every trick. It's just more effort for everything you do, and it's that much more difficult.
I'd say it's 30% slower on most technical tight tricks. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, totally, yeah. Spins, flips, everything. It's just more.
Oh, look at who we got here.
Look at this guy.
Sal.
Yeah.
With two for one. The Storchman. Carson, what goes through your head as we see this? Like, this is my favorite part of what we brought last year was this animation where people could get a glimpse inside of your brain in how you choose a line. How do you choose a line like this?
Yeah, like line choice is definitely the most important part of this event, and a lot goes into it, and it's kind of how you represent how you see riding a bike down this terrain, and it's just full creative control. You can do whatever you want, and it's definitely the hardest part. And it's really cool to see this animation because this is all kind of the raw terrain before we started to build, and rad. Cool to see it from this perspective here.
Yeah, I'll chime in there a little bit. Like most of the guys usually start at the top and then try to look for jumps and cliffs that really like kind of jump out at them and then kind of connect the dots.
Right. Well, that animation, by the way, we're nominated for an Emmy Award for that.
6 with 3 right there, bud.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun way to start the run, doing a switch 3 flat drop. Sorry, I couldn't really hear you there, but
Yeah, no worries. So what's going on through your mind right here? Like, what's coming up, and what are you nervous for?
yeah, it's pretty much the battle of trying to take it just one hit at a time, one trick. You know, every little thing counts at this event because you can slip up on the little things. That's kind of what gets you most of the time. And so I'm just trying. Like, all I'm thinking about is getting down to my big drop so I can spin it. There's just so much anticipation for me, you know, coming off of 2018 and going down trying to spin that drop, and I just wanted to get to this moment right here. So I could just finally do it. And
stomping the big 3 with authority.
Best feeling in the world. Little bit of an over rotation. Kind of slipped up on that super flip, but whatever. It was the best feeling ever to conquer that line.
I love the mid-run claim. Like, you can tell your adrenaline immediately hits you when your hand comes off the bars. And then I imagine at a certain point you're like, all right, get it yourself together and get to the finish line.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, there's still a bit of a ways to go there, and kind of funny, I sent the claim. It's not usually my go-to, but I just felt so good after getting that 3 drop. I had to.
That's hard not to. You got to claim that.
Do you guys have a claim thing? Like, in surfing, it's for some reason, it's a constant discussion to claim or not claim. And I always say, like, if you just did one of the craziest things in your life, which this line was insane, just wasn't just that one trick, how do you not contain yourself that you did the thing?
I agree with you there, Sal. It's all about if it speaks to you as one of the raddest things you've done, claim it. Carson, what's your thought?
Totally. I mean, yeah. I try my hardest. I don't know. Try my hardest to be humble in every scenario I get myself into. But yeah, right there, I had to claim it.
Yeah.
It felt damn good.
There's so much that goes into that. You know, you're building, you know, your dig crews leading up to that, and plus the fact that you got some serious mental, you know, baggage that you're dealing with as well. And then to overcome all of that, yeah, that's worth the claim.
And you make a great point, Claude, because this event actually takes place really over the course of a week. Like, and Carson, you know that better than anybody, as someone who came from digging to competing, and that moment represents not just you, but your entire crew, and so many days and so much energy that went into planning that moment.
Totally, yeah. Like, the guys you choose to build with you, you know, you rely on them a lot. And a lot of this is them. They're putting their soul in building. The big moment you get to start game, and it's time to go. You know, you don't want to let your dig crew down because they put so much into it, just like we do to riding it. And yeah, so it's a lot of anticipation just coming into one time to just put it all down.
This is actually a POV of your run from your helmet GoPro.
Yeah. This is, I think this is one of my favorite parts of my line.
Yeah, that step down flip.
Shoot, it's not the biggest flip, not the biggest airtime, but it's into a shoot, and it was so fun. I honestly missed that. Wish I had something like that.
And it has some exposure too. It made it extra spicy.
Yeah, it wasn't that chill, but it worked really well somehow, and it was really fun when you did it.
And then this one, you opted for a Sui, where Zinc opted for a fronty.
Yeah, I wanted to set myself up good for the important part of getting that spin.
What? That just...
Yes!
A little
My favorite part of that run outside the claim is like you talking to yourself. I don't think a lot of times people realize that you guys are actually talking to yourselves in the run.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something I've always done if I'm really scared of something, or have some anxiety about a certain move. For instance, that big 360 drop. I always tend to say something to myself. I don't really plan on it. It just comes out. Makes me feel better about myself in the moment.
That perspective is pretty cool, especially like when you get into the crowd to be like, oh, we did this. Of course,
Reality.
we said at the top that we would have some questions, and folks are like, oh, I want to get my voice in there, especially after watching Carson stomp. So Jordan Eddings asks, if Rampage 2020 happens, where and when will it be? If it's on, I'll be there. So off the bat, obviously, given the world and the situation that we're in right now, we can't predict what October is going to be like. Fingers crossed we can go ahead as planned. That being said, let's assume that it's happening. Give us what you can about what might be happening, what's possible for the next Rampage.
Carson, what you got on that?
Yeah, there may or may not be some talk about a new site, and I may or may not have gone down there to help scope for it, and yeah, it's definitely something in the books. I think there's a new site potentially there for us, and it's always the best going into a new site because it's just a blank slate, and after 2 years, it's kind of every time the venue just gets a little bit too tapped out, and stuff is way too built, and you kind of have to move on to a fresh site. So, yeah, fingers crossed that COVID-19 kind of chills out and the world goes back to normal, so we can do this in the fall. And yeah, there might be
Yeah.
a new site.
I tell you what, we'll appreciate being there together even more so than we do every year when we are. Tim Cook wants to know, if you couldn't have a job related to bikes, what would you do? Start with you, Claude.
I would be a pro snowboarder because when I was graduated high school, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a pro bike rider or a pro snowboarder. And I was better at biking, I guess, and biking came first. What about you, Carson?
Honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I grew up on the board, and it was always a pipe dream for me. But yeah, I was better at riding bikes, and I honestly had more fun doing it. But I always told myself if I never made it in riding bikes, I would join the military. That was always my backup plan. And you know, I thank them every day. I'm thankful for them, but I'm glad to be riding bikes and getting to do a dream job that it's not even really a job. It's just, yeah, we're definitely lucky to be able to do this.
Absolutely. As you can see, I would be a pro snowboarder too, if I wasn't so like semi-decent at talking. Next up is young Emil Johansson. This dude's only 20 years old, but he's one of those people that you look at and you're like, future, bringing a whole future bag to the sport in every discipline.
Absolutely. This guy dominates the style scene right now. And seeing him on the big bike, he's so comfortable. It's insanely incredible. We all kind of like wondered and like, hey, how's he going to do? Because, we've seen guys come across for slopestyle like first year, kind of be a fish out of water. But this guy freaking got the hang of it right away and absolutely destroyed it. It was great to see. What do you think,
Yeah.
Carson?
Yeah, Emil is definitely one of the most talented riders on the scene, and he kind of just came out of nowhere. And like you said, he's absolutely just killing the slopestyle scene, and definitely hasn't had that much time on a big bike, especially prior to this year's event. And to see him adapt like he did and just take all the talent that he has and put it into that, he just adapted so quick, and he rode so solid. And I think he has definitely, he's going to be in the sport for a long time. He's
This
solid.
kid is the future of big mountain riding right here. Like you were the next generation from my league, and then he's going to be the next generation, in my opinion, anyways. Because he's just that much younger and that much hungrier.
Totally, yeah. He definitely obviously has what it takes, and he's definitely enjoys riding the big bike. And it's just crazy the amount of time that he spent on the big bike, and then he was able to pull this run off, at his first event. It was
Yeah, and And to
Mind-blowing.
throw that suicide off the big jump or the drop there, that was one of the top 3 biggest airs, was it not, of this year's event?
It
Yeah,
was.
it was definitely a good sized drop, and yeah, he had a super solid line top to bottom and crushed it.
Absolutely. That was super rad to see. Big 5s for you, buddy. Yeah, Meal.
Love from the homies. Gotta love the Scando energy. And I like how you guys keep talking about like that. It's a really big deal to be able to bring that skill set and have it adapt so quickly on the stage, because there have been plenty other riders that, and it's not even a diss, but there have been plenty of other riders that have gotten the invite, gotten to Rampage and been like, what have I done?
Totally. Yeah, it's kind of, you know, back when this event was a part of the FMB World Tour, that's kind of how you qualified to get into this event. You were a pure like dirt jump slopestyle rider, and you would just get the invite. And a lot of guys didn't enjoy it and didn't really want to be there, but they had to be there for points. And it's crazy to see somebody like Emil just adapt his skills so well and just go to the big stage and put down such a solid run for such a rookie.
Then
I'm
there's
only
that.
laughing because, you know, how can you not get fired up and get on board with Aggie?
Busting some.
Ooh. What a gem.
Yeah.
Super gem human. And it's such a good look into the difference of mindset. Like some people, like you, Carson, we saw you're in super focus mode. That's how you focus your nerves. And Aggie's just like, let's party.
Yeah. Full party mode.
He's there for the good time, and he definitely has a big run. It's not like he shouldn't be stressed out about having like a mellow line. So it's pretty cool to see him just dance.
That gap looks massive from that angle. It just looks insane how small the riders are in comparison, how big that gap is. It's not rad.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine coming in mostly blind to a gap like that. Like, and having to know, like, I got my speed right. I can't see necessarily where I'm going, and then just get launched out of a rocket off that thing.
Yeah, I walked up there with O'Brien, and he was like, "What? Like here to there? Really? No way!" Yeah, it was pretty cool to see his, like, because he's the pipe guy, and you expect him to be able to fathom some stuff like that, and yeah, he was blown away.
Stoke levels high.
And then push-ups for Jordi. Yeah.
What was that? We look back and, people might forget, like, the energy that you guys were carrying as a community.
You know what? That just inspired me.
Are you hitting some push-ups?
Yep.
Get it.
There we go.
Yeah. Get it. I'll get some for him, too. We'll hit it for the bench. I got it right here.
I don't know if I have much room behind me to do any push-ups.
Yeah, Sal, those aren't push-ups, Sal. Those are girl push-ups. There it is.
I'll do some couch ones. I don't know how successful I'll be.
I didn't think I was going to get a workout.
Have
Get his
Jordi.
feet for Jordi. Love that guy. We all miss him so much.
Yeah.
What was that like, Carson, having to deal with sort of managing the grief and where everyone's hearts were to go in and riding?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say it was really tough for everybody because we were all best friends with Jordi. He was a one of a kind, one of the best guys ever, and it happened like right as we were all starting to go down there, and for me it was probably the longest drive of my life, and it wasn't fun and wasn't, I don't know, yeah. But it was honestly silver lining being able to be down there, with all the boys. We all got to just kind of grieve with each other, and then we got to ride for him in the event. So it all ended up being okay. But yeah, driving down to this event was a tough one for sure, and just wanted to hang out with that guy. Wanted him to be there.
Yeah, as we take a look at Reed Boggs here, rest in peace to Jordi Lunn. His spirit was just everywhere in the air at this event. How about Reed's run though?
Yeah, Reed definitely killed it. He got the invite this year by winning the qualifying event, Proving Grounds, actually in Bend, and yeah, came through and got some solid runs down and definitely proved himself, and definitely hope to see him back here this year.
Yeah, he's been killing it on the big bikes. Good to see. And he lives down there too, so he's digging the Utah desert big time.
Totally.
Hanging out with Nelly boy.
Yeah, he moved out of my house and went back down there.
Yeah. Roommate.
Yeah. That was Reed, Johnny Solito, and DJ Brandt that all got to qualify from Proving Grounds, right?
Correct. Yeah, and then Emil and Bienve got wild cards. They got top 5, and ended up, because a couple guys that were invited before them, just the main invites, they got hurt and they weren't able to attend the event. So Bienve and Emil actually got invites. So top five from Proving Grounds got in this year,
which is pretty rad. That was the first year we actually had a feeder event for the Rampage, which I think worked out amazing.
Yeah, it was. It definitely worked out really good. We had some crazy rain, and the dirt isn't the best out there. A lot of gnarly clay, and the event still went down. And for the first time for an event like that to ever take place, I would say it worked pretty well, and we got some solid guys into the mix in a different way, which was awesome.
Yeah. It was good to see Boggs step out of his comfort zone with that run there. That was pretty rad to see.
Totally, yeah. He's super well-rounded, one of the most well-rounded riders I think there is right now in the game, and he definitely deserves to be there.
Vinny
T, one of the steeziest cats out there, tossing a gainer off the first drop there. The big move for him.
Always rad to see that guy shred on a bike. It's rad style.
Yeah, super fast, super flowy. One of the most stylish guys for sure out there. Really,
yeah, he definitely looks at home out there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he rides some crazy steeps there in France.
Yeah.
Would be stoked to go ride with him one day.
Ditto.
I can't get over, to me, just as an outsider and like an amateur rider, there's something about the riders that are able to apply style in the midst of that much speed. Like that bike control mixed with like, I have this under control until I don't, and while I'm here, I'm going to do so with all the style I can find.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely says something to ride that terrain the way he does with that speed and the style and bike control. He's definitely one of the best riders, one of the best well-rounded riders out there. And for him to be tossing tricks too, I know he doesn't come from a slopestyle background or anything, and he's definitely pushing himself in that regard. It's really cool to see him toss a couple flips in there.
Yeah, he's got all the confidence in the world. One thing I'll note though is how condensed those lines up are on some of those ridges. Like, I don't know, sometimes when I'm riding, you'll get almost lost in your line and you'll be like, oh no, that's not my line, and you end up back onto it. But at the end of the day, it's kind of confusing up there. All the lines are so tight. How do you get over and make sure that you don't get off your line up there on the course? Carson?
I don't know. I usually tend to differentiate my line from most people's lines. I don't kind of get lost in the mess of all the lines, but I'd say for the majority of people out there, it's like you spend so much time doing the build, you know it like the back of your hand, and by the time you're ready to drop in, you're so honed in on exactly what you have to do at every second on the way down your line that I feel like it'd be hard to forget. But yeah, some of those lines are pretty tight and crisscrossed, and yeah.
I'm with you on that one.
Definitely not the place you want to get lost. Speaking of, yeah.
I'm like, wait a second.
Another guest, a dude who does not get lost very well. Our 2019 champ, one of my favorite people to watch on the gram in his yard getting weird. Brandon Semenuk is joining us right now. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
We're good. Good to see you, bud.
We're
Yeah, you
chill.
too. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
What are you up to? How are you spending your time in the midst of our new world?
I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a crazy time, but luckily I got a bit of property and it's pretty easy to stay isolated where I am, but still keep busy. And we've been digging, and the boys of the house, have been riding and helping, and we got lots going on here. So it's a good scene for now.
Awesome. Well, why don't you take us through your run, man, for the people?
Yeah, sure. Started off a switch spin. That first drops it's always kind of weird because you go really, really slow. So it's just like hard setup. And then this is a bit of a new line through here, little canyon gap suey, and then kind of cutting a bit more to some more direct line, carrying some speed into this rock. Got a manual on it this year, which I was pretty stoked on. It was quite a sketchy setup. So that was a highlight for me. And then this is down, I called this thing the battleship because you look up a hill and it's just like this big gray rock. And then we got onto this ridge this year, so instead of going straight over, we made like a 450 hip and then straight down into what we had the year before. This hip fell over, so we rebuilt it, and it just rode so good this year. Big old knack. And then back up into the double drop, which I was really bummed I didn't make it to the year before, but came back for some
by the way.
Thank you. I was hyped on this. So scary.
Yeah. That's so committing.
Yeah, and then this zone, just like getting the right speed. I knew this would be crucial, like not overshooting that step down. It's pretty big. And then just a little something different at the end to kind of cap the runoff. A little footy 3. So, yeah, just so hyped to get a rundown, especially after the year before. And, just, I don't know, just stokes at the boys that have been helping you all week. And, there's so much of a team effort out there. So it's hard when you don't get a rundown and you can't support the boys a bit for their hard work.
Yeah, and how did you deal with all the mental baggage that you had going on with the recent events?
It was really hard, but it was really cool to be with everyone at Rampage and just like homey vibes. Like everyone kind of was in the same scene, but just being together was better than everyone like being by themselves and kind of being bummed. Like,
yeah, I totally
we
agree.
did a bunch of sick rides for Jordi before Rampage, or even on our break, we went up and did a sick ride, and everyone's just like telling stories and jokes, and it's all good. Like, just like that camaraderie was so cool.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it just kind of reminds you how small our community is and how tight all the boys are. And yeah,
100%.
Definitely a
100%,
reminder.
Man. Yeah, everyone's we're all friends in this sport. Like, that's why I love it so much. Is like there's really no egos. Everyone's just like does their thing, and I'm just as hyped to watch the boys land their run as I am to land mine. So yeah,
it's pretty rad to see, bud.
So right on, Brandon. Thank you so much, man, for coming through and giving us that perspective.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, and stay safe out there.
Hey, you stay safe, and we can't wait to see what you're cooking up.
No doubt. Yeah, hopefully some new stuff soon.
All right, take care of yourself.
Catch you later.
Bye.
That was a tweet.
That was super sweet. I mean, he was coming in with so much, carrying from last year, like from just that 720 that just had him completely rattled, and have to carry that a whole year forward, plus everything else.
Yeah, he wanted the flat drop flip into the double, did he not there, Carson? Last year.
2018?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. I didn't really change it much, so he was probably planning on doing that the first year at that site.
Finished business.
Yeah,
right on.
Super gnarly move. Stoked he got that line. It's just such a tech line. Yeah, totally.
Next up, Mr. DJ Brand.
Yeah.
Who I give
Okay.
extra points. I gave extra points to for his kit, the purple on purple all the way down to the forks. That you get extra points from me just for the start there.
So the next time you're judging, make sure your fashion's on point, Sal. It's like, hey man, that kit didn't match.
I'm out here judging fits, bro.
Yeah, you see, he took a pretty different line than everyone else. Rather than drop off that ledge, he decided to point his bike straight down it and shred. It's pretty
Totally,
cool.
yeah. I love the big mountain approach that DJ had. Super Hane line, lots of tech shoots, and yeah, really fun line to watch here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a bit of a mental and like chess play when you're dialing in where you're going to ride and build your run, just because, you know, when you guys go up to a new venue, it's kind of like a rat race to find the biggest, best tricks that are going to score the best. And it's almost like you got to go right to it and kind of claim your spot. And if you don't end up getting the best, you know, features, you know, you could be, you know, sitting top 10 versus top 3.
Totally. Yeah, and I think it's rad to, you know, have just such a variety of different lines, and like DJ has such a huge bag of tricks, and the fact that he chose a line that was more big mountain oriented is pretty cool to see.
Oh, I'm with you on that, because, you know, he could do all those tricks everyone else is doing, but he just said, you know what, I'm going to stick to freeride and make it big mountain and make it kind of true to its roots, and I respect that.
For sure, yeah, he definitely kept it real there.
Yeah, for sure.
But he still tossed in a cork flip can right there.
Yeah, Steezen. This kid's got some rad stuff on his social, so make sure you boys hit him up. One of the more entertaining dudes to watch on his social channels.
He's the Insta video king.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how much time he spends on his phone editing all those little mashups.
So you're saying that a DJ Brent follow is necessary in my life?
It is, I would say, a definite must, Mr. Masekela.
Yeah, I'm doing so right now.
Attaboy.
As we take a look at a North Vancouveran.
He actually just moved to the island.
Oh, is he out there with you on the island?
Yeah, now he's a local.
Fresh island. Hey, gotta show him the ropes, Claw.
Oh, the ropes. All right, he's got to get a chainsaw first thing. Yeah, I really like this 3 up top because it was super committing, and the landing was, I'd say, like a quarter of the size of all the other landings out there, which makes it super technical. And I was pretty fired up to see him spin that one. What do you think, Storch?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like he had that step down flip right into that 3 drop right off the bat, and that was definitely a risky move to do that at the top of his line. And then I know for a fact that he was struggling with line choice just because most of the mountain was spoken for, because he
showed up late to the party.
Yeah. So he I know that was something that he had some issues with, but he still made it happen and had a solid run. And yeah, the step down flip to 3 drops, super rad way to start it. And yeah, the middle part, maybe he struggled a bit with kind of finding the right way through that, just with it being so packed out, so many other lines. But linking it up with that big flat drop sui right there, pretty rad. Then he almost clears that gap, which is pretty rowdy.
You don't want to do that.
I got a question for you guys.
What do you got?
You talk a little bit about like the challenges if you show up a little late for whatever reasons, or you didn't get to claim the first line, the line that you wanted. How do you negotiate with other riders to, you know, yo, can I get a little piece of that right here? Like I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Balance.
What does that look like? And I'm sure like if you start poaching lines without permission, it can get a little weird.
Yeah, you're gonna get slapped pretty hard if you start digging on someone's landing without permission. Because I know I've been known to do bark a little bit when someone starts digging on my lines. It's you got to claim your stuff out there, and if you want to borrow or ride or share someone's line, you got to put the work in. There's no freebies out there, and you definitely gotta, play the game. It's almost like a little chess game. Would you say, Storch?
Totally, yeah, and I think there's ways to work it. I feel for Reese here this year, just not having a lot of terrain to work with. And it depends on what part of your line like you're trying to get in on. If you're a newcomer for the year, because like connector lines is totally fine. Like that's mellow. But like some of the main hits, like if you have like a crux move in your line, like for example, like my big 3 drop or Tom's big flat drop, you can't. It's tough. You can't just like come into that and say, "Hey, I want to ride this," because so much work went into that, and it's like such a crux move. But so it's a tough one. I don't know.
Yeah,
Definitely
and
a
you
balance
see,
there, and you got to have respect because you want everybody to get down the mountain for sure. And like some guys are gnarlier than others about being territorial. And I would say all in all, it's just about the balance. And we're all there for the same thing. We all want to be safe and just get down the mountain.
yeah, and you see some guys like, for instance, on your line, Godzak used your same landing, but he had a different in run into that big drop. That's like a prime example of trying to find the balance between like, okay, this is where I'm going. Can I go the same place you are? And it's like, well, if you build your own lift, sure. And that's what
Yeah,
you guys
exactly.
ended up with.
We found that drop and we started building the run out and everything, and he came in and we were cool with it. It's just like you can't go where our lip is 10 feet above, but you can build your own lip in as long as it's like a little smaller and you help us, then it's fine. It's not going to hurt our score. So it's
Yeah,
I
nothing
don't
for
know. You
free.
kind of have to have a little greed with it because it's kind of you're trying to do the best that you can, but you also got to work with people because we all got to we're all in the same boat. We got to get down that mountain.
That part of the culture is fascinating. It's a really cool insight to get because I know people are super, super curious. We are international right now. Like literally the whole world is watching. I've been getting notes from people that are watching us as far away as South Africa in the evening time. We got plenty of folks that are watching in the UK I believe we have the one and only Brendan Fairclough who's joining us online from Lunn.
Yo!
Dude.
How's it going, boys?
Going awesome. How you making out?
I've been surviving. I've been good. Just holding tight. Like what Brandon said, I'm lucky enough to have a little bit of land to play in, building some jumps, and yeah, I've had such a hectic beginning of the year that it's kind of nice to do nothing for a bit, but obviously not in this horrible situation. Wish it was different.
Fully.
Definitely.
It's interesting, isn't it, Brendan? Like I can't remember any other time in my lifetime where I can literally call any friend of mine that I have on the entire planet on any continent and all telling the parallel story of being in the literal exact same situation. It's a trip.
Jeez, it's let's just get through it safe and hope that we come out the other side and all can ride our bikes again.
Indeed. Well, we're playing our part. We're playing our part right now in having some fun while also being at home. Appreciate you taking the time in your evening to take us through your run.
Well, I've got a cup of tea in my hand, so yeah, we're all good. Thanks to you guys for putting this on. This is a cool thing for people to watch. It's pretty rad.
Rad. Well, take us through.
Right, heading in right away into this first blind drop. I had a bit of a different start to everyone else as I was heading down the right side of the mountain. Little road up there, step down here, which I secretly wanted to do a suicide off, but I was too scared in my run. I thought I don't want to risk it. And then up onto Dwayne, there he is.
Dwayne
no
Johnson.
wind, so it's good. Scary as always to break on that dusty landing was horrible. Down the ridge line, heading down here. The whole way down here, I was just hoping I was going to get a puncture or a bike was going to break or something, so I didn't have to head in to this canyon. But yeah, it worked out. all worked out pretty good. They're the boys, Ben and Ollie, cheering behind down into this
How sick
horrible,
was this line into
horrible
that
shoot.
shoot?
You remember that, Darren, huh?
Absolutely, that's
And
one of
then
my
the day
lines.
before finals, I learned flip, tuck, no handers. So I bust one out in the final, and here I nearly hit a cameraman as I landed off there. But yeah, oh geez, the feeling of getting through there in one piece was, well, same as everyone that gets down down in the bottom in one piece. You can see, pretty excited.
And were
It
you one
gives me
at
sweaty
that point?
hands now actually watching that. It's cool.
Totally.
My favorite part is when you come across the gap and the boys just look like they they look like they're going
Yeah.
down you.
Well, you know, like the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into everything out there, and you get such a close relationship with your dig crew. You know, you're living with them, you're eating with them, you're pickaxing, you're hanging off cliffs with them, you're doing everything. You know, and it all comes down to that last 2 minutes of riding down, where there's so many different variables, and I think secretly everyone kind of knew I wanted to try to flip that. So for me, that's definitely well above my pay grade, and I've never done anything like that before. So it was a little bit of a roll of a dice, but worked out, and yeah, pretty stoked on that one still.
That was epic, dude. Nice work.
Super solid.
I'm pretty sure McGarry was toasting you from the Nexus for sure on that one.
Oh well, you know, it had absolutely nothing compared to the legend himself. One back in the day, but yeah, it was definitely still pretty scary.
We have your POV angle as well.
Oh, cool.
If you want to give us a little deeper, even deeper perspective, especially as you come right off the bat into this cheeky little nose manual.
Oh yeah. Hey, you tried that, didn't you, Carson?
Yeah, I did. I crashed really hard. That was probably the dumbest crash I've had in my whole career.
You almost took yourself out with that.
What I was trying to do, it was just like a last minute waiting for wind, and just had a little bit too much brake, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
so we're here on board with my GoPro Max actually on my chest. It's a pretty cool angle actually, and there you got Jordi's sticker right in front of us there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, heading down off this drop again, which we made new, big.
That's a big
but
drop.
like I said, I was too scared, and I'm not really a big fan of drops, so up onto Dwayne right there. Ooh.
Such a sick angle.
So
Yeah,
rad.
yeah. And then,
Such
like I
a
said, once I'm heading down this ridge, I was just hoping for a mechanical or something, so I didn't have to drop in. But
Is that why you were pinning it so fast?
yeah, I was praying for a puncture, and then like I took some advice off some of the boys that know what they're doing, and they just said pull hard off the lip because the lip was quite mellow and it was so long. So I pulled hard off the lip of the canyon and just got the flip done early and then opened up. And then here, flip tuck, and as I grabbed my brakes, I grabbed a handful of front brake in the air, so my front wheel locked up. But yeah, there's a guy on the landing, and yeah, all worked good, and thankfully I only had to do that once.
Yeah, one and done. That's a great feeling.
Yeah. Well, obviously, second time we went up again and did 30 push-ups on the rock for Jordi, but yeah, no flips over canyons, that's for sure.
That was awesome.
I'm still trying to comprehend the run-up, that in-run up onto the rock. That defies logic.
Yeah, it's like that skinny getting up onto it. It was we probably could have put more man hours into that, but I thought it was pretty cool. Like when people came up to it, they're like, "Oh, geez, how the hell do you get up on there?" So yeah, once he did it once, so it was not too bad. But I was always scared of coming up, my brakes failing, and then going off the wrong side. But it's all good. Touch wood.
Yeah, that was sick. Well named too.
Incredible, man.
That was Ollie Wilkins' idea a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, The Rock still hasn't liked us or tweeted us or followed us or anything, but I'm sure he will. He'll get round to
Yeah,
it.
maybe this will push it over the edge, get it the recognition it
Yeah.
needs.
There you go. Old Dwayne will probably see this and then give us a follow.
I'll work on it here from Los Angeles. I got a couple of angles.
Attaboy.
Awesome. Where are we from? We're from LA. We're from Vancouver Island and Oregon.
Man.
Huh?
Yeah.
And London.
Wow, sweet. Modern technology, huh?
Crazy.
Wow.
Hey, it's great to spend some time with you. Thank you for jumping in and giving us some perspective, and stay safe out there. And hopefully we'll be all able to do this together sooner in real life.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks again, guys. Take care, and I hope all goes well.
Right on. Be
Good
well.
hand, bud.
Thanks, man.
And of
Be
course,
safe,
for all of
boys.
Of course, for all of you watching around the world, Darren is not our final guest. We got plenty more guests for you on this special look back viewing party on Friday, because it's Friday and we ain't got to do. Question for Carson from Laban Bramlett. Carson, what's your main method of defeating fear in the way of mountain biking?
I don't know. I don't have fear.
Yeah, you do. What are you talking about?
I just try and have fun with it, you know? It's just the way you perceive fear is I take that energy and I just try and turn it into having fun on the bike, and then, you know, all it is a source of energy to get stuff done, you know? That's kind of the way I like to look at it, and the more fun I'm trying to have, the better I'm going to ride. So, yeah, I try and use the fear.
Yeah, I think people don't realize that only way that you guys can do what you do is to actually cultivate a relationship with fear, Claude. Like, you have to you can't ignore it, try and put it away. Like, you have to build a relationship with it.
Yeah, absolutely. If fear's not there, you're probably going to be in some trouble, unless you're Cameron Zink, because he doesn't feel fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
YXNG Lucas 1. What bike would I need to start jumping ramps?
Any bike will do.
Just hit it.
Maybe a dirt jumper. Start with that. Build some jumps in the backyard. Build a pump track.
Yeah.
They're more fun.
I wouldn't recommend like the cheapest Walmart bike because it might snap in half. Maybe we could ask Sam Pilgrim to do a really, really cheap bike challenge and see if it'll last. But for right now, have something a little middle of the run price range.
Yeah.
True.
Solid advice, gentlemen. Solid advisement. Let's head back up to the one and only Kurt Sorge out of my favorite town in British Columbia, the beautiful Nelson, British Columbia. And this dude's living legend is an understatement.
Yeah, the Hoff.
The Sorgel Hoff. He's the man.
Yeah, he's won this event a few times. He's no stranger to that podium. Coming in hot. Big goose. Hoff's always had a way to get on that podium. Good to see him out there shredding hard.
Woo!
Yeah, choosing a very large line. Everything on it is big and fast and classic Hoff style. He's definitely a big mountain pioneer. Ridden all around the world, filmed movies, and yeah, he is the man.
And that drop right there is definitely one of the biggest plum droppers probably ever done. Wouldn't you agree with that, Carson?
I think so, yeah. Oh.
Whoa. In the wind factor. We'll touch on that. You know, in the actual live broadcast, you hear the boys talk about it so much, but the definition of wind is right here. If he wouldn't have had that headwind, he would have cleared the jump. But because of it, he came up short.
And you can see when that dust kicks up, like just exactly that dust heads straight back up the hill, and you see that wind in real time.
Yeah, if he would have had the wind going the opposite direction, he would have been a foot or two down the landing versus a foot or two short of clearing the jump.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to explain to people what wind does when you're riding bikes. Like, even that amount of wind is, very small amount of wind, but it's just, straight in your face, and it'll slow you down a lot, especially for a jump like that where it seemed like they were struggling for speed the whole time for it.
Well, you love the fact that Kurt only does one event a year and leaves it all out on the mountain at Rampage. Simon Godziak.
Oh, yeah.
Back. Yeah, this kid's got all the tricks, like heavy slopestyle influence, and it's great to see him. How many years has this been for him, Carson? This is his third or second year out here.
I think 2015 was his first year.
Got it. Yeah,
So
he's been up for a couple years.
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
great to see him on the big bikes, though.
Yeah, he's definitely not a rookie at this event. He's done some pretty wild stuff over the years. Superman over the Canyon Gap in 2015, I remember that. And super rapid line he put together here and into this little bit of an overspin.
Yeah.
Super clean.
Yeah, and he took basically the same landing as you did, but just went down a little bit lower on the takeoff zone.
Yeah, like his 3-drop looks like more fun than ours.
Yeah, like standard big jump, not massive and scary as balls.
Yeah, and a little bit of a hip too, so it's safe to over-rotate.
Which always happens on those big threes, no matter what.
Yeah, but solid rider. He has so much moto influence with the tricks he chooses. He's one of my favorites to watch, especially on the small bike. He has a massive bag of tricks, and he's definitely put his time in on the big bike and out here in Utah, and absolutely crushes it every year.
Yeah, and one of the questions I've always had is when are we going to see his brother out here on the big bikes? He's been crushing it on the slopestyle scene.
Yeah, I mean, the talent between the both of them is pretty endless. I would never doubt seeing his brother out here.
Yeah, I think it's only time, in all honesty. When he showed up at Rotorua last spring, he pretty much blew minds how good he was and how he could, his composure really blew me away. And as you can see here, his brother coming in with an 86 is pretty darn good for a guy that comes from slopestyle.
Totally, yeah.
And I always have an extra partial part in my heart for the dudes who have the entire family waiting for him in the corral. Because
it's hard.
Imagine what it's like for the families looking up. Well, this dude, the linebacker of your sport, maybe the defensive tackle, Big Kyle Straight, has competed in every single Rampage, never missed one. First one was at 14 years of age, and he's a mind blower.
Yeah, he is no stranger to the podium, this guy. He's always coming out firing, and like you said, he's definitely twice the build of the rest of the field out there, and coming out with the big old suicide, one of his signature Rampage moves. Always good to see. And I know he's got some new tricks that he's trying. Carson, wasn't he going to do for like a toboggan or something off your drop?
Yeah, I think he did like a toboggan, and then no, that was the next run. Stay tuned.
Oh yeah, right. Yep, gotcha. Jumped ahead of myself there.
But here,
here we go.
Daddy Lyle, that's pushing it for him. That's a new trick out of old dog.
Yeah.
Was it me, or did he have to yank up on that backflip at the very end to keep from?
Oh, big time. That's the thing about that's about Sui's, is like they naturally kind of get away from you in the middle of a flip, where a tuck flip, it actually speeds your rotation down. So you had to actually grab and give it another yank to get that front end around. But
I'd be having everybody too if I'd survived that.
Yeah, I remember he came up to me afterwards, like, "See, Claw, I can do new tricks." He was all fired up. I was like, "Heck yeah, buddy, this is rad." So
Won this
Wow.
thing in 2004 and 2013. Why is it so hard to back-to-back win Rampage? Because it's never been done.
the pressure, just what it takes going into one single run at Rampage, especially if you're starting from a new venue. Like the amount of work that goes into everyone's line. Like if you said to someone, "Hey, build me that line. How much is it going to cost?" I would probably say around 40 to 60 grand is what you would charge someone to build a line like that. So it's a monumental amount of work to get a whole line built top to bottom on that. Then the mental, and then the preparation of all your tricks and all your training, and then getting your dig crews. It's a monumental task. And to be able to back to back, it's insane.
That is really interesting perspective when you put it in the numbers like that. But like, oh, here's what I would pay to not have to do that part, and then have to do all that work, and then hope that you can enter the same flow state necessary to actually win the thing. That's perfect.
It's got to be done by yourself, because there's no way you can hand that task off to someone else, because you are personally like, you have to do it your way, because you can't have another rider even do it, because it's like all the angles, the distances, it's very particular.
Yeah,
in order to have that trust that, like, okay, I can go. We told you guys that we got plenty of special guests today, and I believe that Tyler McCaul.
T-Mac!
Hey guys.
How are you, buddy?
Not too bad, just hanging out, watching the show.
Sick,
Where
buddy.
are you?
Nice.
This is how people hang out now, I guess.
It is. Where are you at, Ty-Mac?
I am in Tokerville, Utah, which I'm in my garage right now, but if I were looking out the window, I could see Gooseberry Mesa, which is right above where we do Rampage. But yeah, moved out here a year ago, and it's been great.
That's right. We were talking big time. We even got like a mini tour in the show last year of you giving us perspective of your house and just how close you were. What was it that drove you to be like, okay, I'm setting up camp here with the fam?
I just love it out here. Every time I come out, it felt like where I belonged. There's lots of freedom, lots of places to dig, lots of places to ride, and you can kind of do whatever you want. And we were running out of places to ride back in California, so it was time to make the move. Postponed it for a long time, and then finally just had to jump the gun and move out here. And my fiance was willing to make the move with me, which was super rad. And we've been here a little over a year now and been loving it. Awesome,
man. Well, thanks for joining us on this Friday, especially during this time. Oh, you're one up in it. Well played.
They said it was a party. Oh yeah, cool. I think I got a little delay here, but I'll see if I can keep up.
Can you see yourself here at the start?
Yeah, I got it now.
So you kind of conquered some fears from previous year's event, and starting off with flipping the step down was kind of one thing that you didn't do in 2018 that you got done this year, even threw in a table.
For sure. I wussed out on that in 2018, and it bugged me for a whole year. So I was stoked to get that one out of the way for sure.
Sick.
Then that part was super fun. Carson, Andreu, Vinny, and Tommy were nice enough to let me take that route this year. And then this thing, the crack, I had thought about flipping it the year before, but wussed out as well. So that was another good one to not wuss out on.
Absolutely. That was sick. And then how gnarly is this drop?
It's just, it's annoying. I don't know. It's awkward and sketchy. It's like nothing, I don't like anything about that drop other than the feeling of falling, but everything leading up to it is terrifying. It's just, you got cliffs on both sides and super skinny landing. But when it works, it's super fun. It's just really hard to judge the speed and not flip the cliff and stuff. And then right there, just psyched to get to the finish.
You almost hit the sign there.
Yeah. I know. I think my head was kind of close. It was almost a bad idea, but I was just way too excited to hit the brakes.
You
Got my
definitely
nieces there, Chloe and Shiley. Everybody thought they were my kids. They're like, "When did you have kids?" But my nieces are super rad. It was great to have them there this year.
Awesome.
Yeah, this step down flip is so rad. I remember looking down on that thing, and it's so insanely blind. It's got to be a pretty gnarly move just to commit to.
Yeah, it was a weird one just because it had that steep roll into it. So I was kind of tweaking out on how big of a lip to have, because when you have a roll in like that, it loads the suspension up, so you don't need as big of a lip. But that one, I was like kind of second guessing it as I was coming into it, and thought about just popping it and hanging a foot and try to do something stylish. And then last second, I decided I didn't want to be a wuss, and I'd be super bummed if I didn't flip it. But it worked out. It ended up being super easy. It was just getting myself to do it. It was the hard part.
For sure.
Yeah.
How about we do it one more time from your chesty?
Cool. I think I'm kind of like Carson in the fact that I say embarrassing things and talk to myself while I'm riding too. So hopefully we don't have audio on that.
I think we all
Sometimes
do.
you just get so excited you can't help it.
Like right here. Should I be a puss or should I not?
Right,
Yeah, I'm doing
right there,
it.
I was like, I'm just gonna hang a foot, and then no, and then I was super psyched.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That jump is one of my least favorite jumps from Utah. Right there, terrible jump.
That one is
Just everything
creepy.
about it, so much speed into it. Yeah. And then
This
this
drop-
part, I had a line in the dirt to where I wanted to let off the brakes, but I braked a little too long, came up short.
Yeah, you
Just kind of
almost
sketchy, but it worked out. I paid, bent my chain ring, but yeah, that was supposed to be a flip no foot cam, but I didn't want to throw it all away, so did the stock,
This is
played
your
out,
first
flip
run.
table.
Super solid run.
Yeah,
Oh my god, you blasted that. So funny.
I'm pretty stoked I didn't hit my head on that.
Yeah. That would be a pretty sweet way to end your run.
Exactly.
well, Tyler, you mind sticking around for a few more runs?
I got nothing going on, man. I'm here.
Got no place to go?
No place to go.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you.
Good time to be.
Here's your non.
Yeah, this guy's a style master.
Good old Tommy G.
Yep. Coming back from the slopestyle scene and killing it on the big bikes. What was his best run? His finish was like a top 3 a couple of years back, right?
I
Yeah, but-
think he got
I
top
don't
5
know.
1 year, maybe 5th place.
He's always up there. He's always like top 7, top 5.
Yeah, he's
Fifth
very
place.
consistent.
5th place in 2015
Super.
and 2018.
Gotcha.
All
Thanks,
I
Sal.
know is doing a switch spin in the middle of the lineup there on that sketchy jump is pretty insane.
Nasty.
That's seriously the worst jump ever. And yeah, he spun it his opposite direction, which makes it even harder.
Yeah.
Which is wild that he ate it on that jump, which is so less gnarly than the one up top.
It was good to see him get back up from that because he had shoulder surgery earlier in the season. He had his shoulder pop out during his slopestyle run in Rotorua. So anytime you see someone hit the ground after something like that, you're like, oh man, hopefully that thing held up. But he was able to get back up and do run number 2, which was super good to see.
Yeah,
For sure.
That was a jarring crash too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a good run going.
Yeah. That is a pretty unique jump to try and 450. Just being kind of a step down and probably pretty blind, and there's kind of lips all over the place, and pretty technical spin there.
Is it me or is it me or is the all white kit like a pretty huge statement?
It's loud, that is for sure.
It's a big move, bold move.
Very bold, just like Tom Van Steenbergen is on his riding. This kid frightens me sometimes. And this run was definitely frightening. To see him flat drop that big monster was insane. Absolutely nuts. Like,
Yeah.
Carson, have you done a flat drop flip that blind before?
No, I haven't really gotten him dialed on the downhill bike. I know I
Like,
could.
this
I'm
is
just kind
so
of scared
insane.
of it. Yeah.
Look at the flag blown too.
So much commitment, it's insane. And like, I can't even bring to explain to our viewers how terrifying it is rolling up to the takeoff of that, thinking that you're just going to lean back. You don't even get to see the landing until you're either blowing past the landing or landing on it with 2 tires.
Totally. And I know from past experience that flat drop flips, the faster you're going, the easier they are. And that thing is such
100%.
a plump drop that, yeah, I can't imagine. That's some crazy commitment right there. And yeah, at least
Yeah,
it's
you
big.
almost want to
A lot of
pedal,
time they
crank
pull it
it.
around. Yeah.
Absolutely.
This run
And
was
massive
hectic.
running.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think
a
we'll
whole-
see Tom win one of these days.
He has to. He's got the biggest moves. Like, that was insane. Like, absolutely nuts. Like, what? Like, the only other thing
He's
I can
so
compare
gnarly.
that to was Zink's flip, but that was off a lip step down. It was
Mhm.
nuts.
I'd say Zink's flip in 2017 is probably the most similar.
100%. And the only difference is the fact that this is a flat drop and Zink's had a small lip on it. Not to take away anything from Zink's.
Well,
but
17 he had a flat one, but yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah,
big
okay.
icon one had like
I think that
tiny
was
lip.
15, wasn't it? Like his flat or his.
The OP one.
Yeah. All the years.
I don't
seem
know.
to
They all
blend
blend together. Yeah.
And we just like that, we go from all you can see with the white into super camo with Ethan Nell.
Can't even see him. He's so camo. Oh, there's a helmet. The helmet and some sponsor logos. Yeah, this kid's no stranger to the Utah desert, seeing as he lives 40 minutes away from here. Pretty rad to see him come out. A huge support crew. Seeing him come out and rooting the boy on.
He was this thing right here. He did it the year
so
before, but he was still sweating it because it's super gnarly, and the turn he has to make there to get into that. It's part of the fun ridge for everyone that's going past that. So everyone's just ripping up his turn where he needs to like set up and make sure he's online to do that flip. And so he's in the start gate watching everyone just blow his berm up before his flip. So he was like super stressed on that, but he was able to do it again.
Yeah.
That
Then he
honestly,
had this next big thing about too.
Yeah, look at this. Just like Tom. Different lip. So he had a little bit more gradient on the end of his takeoff than Tom did, correct?
maybe he claims that it
Not
was
much though.
and it's pretty much a flat drop flip, which is pretty wild. And then yeah, to see him get stuck on that whip right there is definitely a bummer.
And like we were talking about earlier, Storch, is like you have so much focus on that big move, and then once you do it, you have so much of like a letdown mentally to be like, okay, I just did the biggest thing in my life. I'm stoked. I just want to celebrate, go crush beers with my homies, and then your brain turns off, and he brain farts on a whip because he's so excited and he overcranks it. How insane is that?
Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, I know he wanted to spin that jump, and I think he didn't quite have the speed, and it was a last-minute decision to just like toss a whip, and then so maybe he was in between a spin and a whip and just pulled really hard and just got stuck. But definitely a bummer.
Brain fart for sure.
Guys, it's my turn. It's my turn, guys. I'm ready to go.
Another
This
thing
guy.
to note is the chopper in the background. You know how much that, brings on your nerves. It's just this big helicopter with all those decibels in your ear. Pretty wild.
Andreu Lacondeguy only has one speed, and that is go. Won this thing in 2014, and unlike some riders, for me, like you can't tell what they're gonna be like on course. I feel like Andreu rides exactly like he sounds in a conversation with you.
Yeah, 100%. I think that was the slowest part of his run right there.
Yeah, this guy is fifth gear pinned all the time.
Watch how he commits to this next one. Oh my God, that was so insane.
He landed so deep.
Yeah,
to even be like, oh, I'm still gonna go for it.
His suspension was still compressed leading up into the next takeoff. It was that close. Wild. You know, like some riders just have
there was no doubt in his mind that he was going to put that no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. Like, watch this. He's just like, no, I got it, man. I got it. Yep, just lean back.
That's so crazy. It's such a tiny flip.
It's such a small, quick flip.
Oh,
yeah, there's no way in hell I'd ever be able to flip that thing with all the setup time in the world.
Yeah, maybe on your hardtail.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
That's the difference of commitment.
Crazy
like some
guy.
riders, like, oh, I'm a little deep, and I'm just not going to go for the next one because I'm not perfect. But him, he's like, nah, I got this, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's saying the same thing. Like, oh well, of course. What else did we expect? Our 2018 champion. How about the come up that Brett Rheeder has been on in the last few years?
Pretty wild.
He can win anything he wants to win if he puts his mind to it, this guy.
Absolutely. And you see him stomping the fronty with the DH bike. He's the mathematician when it comes to dialing in his tricks. And, pretty rad to see him get it on that big bike.
Yeah.
That drop was super cool. That was my favorite part of his line.
Yeah. That flip, oh, that was so rad. Into that canyon. So committing.
Whoa.
Definitely came up short on that.
Almost cleared away there.
Yeah. It's so easy to grab a little too much brake on those ones without a setup jump into those big jumps.
For sure.
He had troubles on that setup like the night before, I believe it was. He cased hard and went down on that one after the drop.
Yep.
Solid run. He hung on with a few jumps.
That run was insane.
Absolutely. All in red. That kit pops so good.
The scary thing about Brett, too, when you're competing against him is he does a run like that that's like podium or win worthy, but he always has more in the tank, too. It's like, all right, that was one of the best runs of the whole day. But if he has to, he just has more stuff he can pull out of the bag.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. You just got to dial it all in.
Will you classify that as like more of an underflip?
I'd classify a bit cork.
He always corks his flat drop flips a lot. Pretty rad.
Right.
Just kind of his unique style.
Next level.
Yeah, it's personal preference, I'd say, Carson. Wouldn't you agree? Just like straight over or cork a little bit?
Kinda. I mean, for me, I always act like I just cork my flips no matter what. I always have, So it's just kind of the way I've always done it, the way I learned them,
Mm-hmm.
And Brett's kind of the same way. Always done like, as we call, no-look flips, where you kind of like pull up and you kind of look to the side, look through your arms so you can see the knuckle when you're in the air. And as you progress, it's just the way you've always done it, and that's your style, I guess.
Yeah, it's also a little bit less nerve-wracking when you can kind of glance at the knuckle of the landing before you make that full commit back.
Yeah.
Just a few more seconds of screen time makes all the difference. Being able to see.
Big time.
Yep.
Mr. McCaul, we appreciate you spending a bunch of runs with us and hanging out.
It's good hanging. Good to see you guys, and hopefully we can actually hang out in the flesh before too long.
Yeah, man. Say hello to Mr. Cam.
Carson's probably going to see him before I do. They live in the same town, but I talk to him every now and then, and I'll say what's up.
He's literally, of all the people that I get to sit next to as an analyst at any event, Cam is the most naturally gifted broadcast analyst that I've ever worked with in my life. Like, when I sit with him, I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about anything. He's next level.
He is, for sure. And the only person I've ever announced with, I believe, is Cam. And he does a great job. I don't know how he manages all the talking in the ear. You guys deal with some crazy stuff while you're announcing. But yeah, he's really good at it. He's always loved talking. And I think he found his perfect niche.
Yeah, he's the best. Take care of yourself, brother. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're all able to do this in real life in the fall. Take care.
Right on. Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
All right.
And yeah, hopefully we'll all be hanging soon.
Cheers,
Sweet.
buddy.
I like getting this glimpse into everybody's houses. Like, we know what Fairclough's kitchen looks like. We've got a little tour into the garage with Tyler. We're going to take a couple of questions right now from y'alls that are still with us. Next question that I have is from Mountain Bike. Favorite thing to do in quarantine? Start with you, Carson.
Okay. Well, I don't really have a favorite thing because this is the first time in my life I've ever quarantined myself. But I'd say I've been moving a lot of dirt the past month and a half in machines, digging by hand, and it's usually one of my favorite things to do anyways, but it's been making time go by pretty good, just moving dirt, building jumps.
Nice.
How about you, Claw?
Yeah, well, I live in the wilderness, kind of similar to you, and it's been rad. You know, I've been digging on trail a bunch, been riding a bunch, and working on some machines like yourself, and working on the rake. And I'm pretty sure it's unanimous within the mountain bike scenes that all the trails in the areas have just been getting buffed. You know, so like out of this whole mess, you know, we're gonna have a lot of really good looking trails out there, and maybe a bunch more new ones. So, anyways, that's what I've been up to, and hanging out with the family.
I have been not surfing because we're not allowed to surf here. The beaches are closed, so I'm losing it. But I have been learning how to cook and how to DJ.
Oh,
so,
whoa, DJ Sal coming in the house.
After party next year at next Rampage. You never know; it might be a guest DJ.
Nice.
Elliot King, 2007. I'm 12, so I'll go. I'm 12 and bike a lot, and I was wondering, how do I become a Red Bull biker? Good question.
Well, I'll jump in there and I'll say keep having fun on your bike and keep pushing your own limits. And if you're having fun, things will happen. Keep at it. Carson?
I concur. Sweet. Yeah, it'll happen when you least expect it.
Absolutely. The bottom line, have fun, ride your bike. And if you're good at it and you put some determination and your head at it, you're gonna succeed. It's the bottom line.
Totally.
Solid advice from two people who wear the flag proudly. Our next guest is one of my favorite little balls of energy in the world. She shreds the most incredible big mountain terrain on her skis. She's that woman that you see on the mountain that makes you feel bad that you even decided to do the same sport as her. And then you throw her on a mountain bike and she will go absolutely ham. The pride of Truckee, California, the one and only Michelle Parker, who came to Rampage last year and showed her stuff with some of the best women in the world in the inaugural formation event, and one of my favorite people to go to Baldface with. Hey, Michelle, I think maybe check your microphone to see that it's on.
Okay, checking the mic. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, girl.
Awesome.
How are you? Where are you?
I'm good. I'm in Lake Tahoe. Yeah, it's beautiful and sunny out right now. It's about to maybe rain or snow. We'll see.
How have you been spending your quarantine time?
Well, we just started reorganizing the garage, got the bikes in order and the skis and snowboards and everything organized and dialed. Honestly, I've been getting on the indoor bike trainer, staying motivated with that thing.
That's a struggle.
I know. I thought that I would be struggling too, and I was like, I don't know if this is like Darren and Carson probably don't do the indoor bike trainer, but I'm into it.
Oh,
That's awesome. I got a rower in the back. I managed to get a Concept 2 rower, and that's been helping me out with my movement sanity. You were one of the 6 women that got to come out last year and participate in the formation event at the previous site for Rampage. What was that like? What did it mean for the sport for this to finally happen?
It was absolutely incredible. And for myself, I compare it to like your first time ever going to Alaska and seeing those peaks and being surrounded by these incredible lines, and you're at the bottom and it's super intimidating. And this was the first time that these ladies got to ride this terrain. It was, resurrected a few lines from the 2015 Rampage site. And I was there in full support mode. So I just got to go there, dig, carry bikes, help these girls get their lines dialed, and kind of, I don't know, help with the mental side. I brought my production team in, but watching them step up to this terrain was so inspiring. It was really, really cool to be a part of. Especially this line right here. This is Michaela Gatto's helmet cam. That was a spicy drop in.
And when are we going to see you out there, Miss Parker?
Funny enough, Darren was the first person to ever take me into the Whistler downhill park, and I was pretty much addicted ever since then. I don't know. It's funny when you're standing next to these ladies and you're looking at the terrain, you like start to think that maybe you could do it. But for me, I was like, yeah, if I had my bike, I'm glad I don't have my bike here right now because I'd be tempted. But I don't think I could. I mean, these are the best female bikers in the world. And yeah, it was just more or less a pleasure to watch them step up to that terrain and commit. And they did such a good job. It was incredible. This whip from Vinny is the beautiful thing.
Next level.
Am I hearing this fall you're going to join the girls?
I'm down to carry bikes and dig all day.
All right.
We appreciate the honesty. For someone who's, but you do stand on top of mountain lines on your skis, and you also we saw in the clip how well you ride. What is the difference for you, and is there any crossover in the way that you read terrain on your skis in comparison to how you read it on your bike?
I think that's why, Sal, I love biking in the summertime because it plays into skiing so much. Like just that spur of the moment, you have to react super quickly depending on what's in front of you. And yeah, you look at it from the bottom, you go up top, and you're just 100% in the zone. Like Carson was saying earlier, you are like completely in the present moment and nothing's coming inside your mind. It's just like all focused on what you have to do. And so everything you guys have been talking about is so relatable. And yeah, on skis or a bike, but truly watching these women step it up. And it's like if I went to Alaska for my very first time, it was so incredible. Like the day that we went up to ride, we dug for, I want to say 3 or 4 days. And then we went up to ride it. And there's this one prized line, and it was kind of just like right in the center, this double drop. It was massive, the most photogenic line. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I was thinking, like, how's this going to start? Like, the session's about to go. And Hannah Bergman, the dark horse of the crew, went up there. And, like, she was up there as we were walking up. And she hit the biggest part of the line to start things off. I was absolutely blown away. It was so cool. So, yeah, the girls just stepped it up. They did an amazing job. Obviously, we were missing Casey Brown on that list. She got injured in proving grounds, which was unfortunate. But I would have loved to see her step it up, too, in that terrain.
Do you see a new women's freeride event in the future, given like where the level of the sport is?
Absolutely. I think the formation gave the women opportunity to kind of gather their minds and work together and kind of shape the future of their sport. So we're going to do it again, and we're going to continue doing it. And it's really in their hands as far as what they want to do with it and continue to push on this level of biking. And I think that they will host some form of a women's rampage for sure.
That will be awesome and long overdue. You are one of my favorite positive vibe warriors when it comes to how you live your life. and so stoked to be able to see you. Thank you for coming through, and I look forward to making turns with you again really, really soon.
Me too. Good to see you guys. Enjoy the rest of this live cast. It's been a pleasure to watch. It's super fun. My heart's racing right now watching it all.
Awesome. And fingers crossed, we'll see you right back in Utah again for this event if we can make this thing happen this year.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Right on, Michelle. Take care and stay safe.
Good to see you, Michelle.
Thank you. You guys too.
Ciao. Continue.
She's just the best. Absolutely the best. Well, next up, back up the top with Zinkers.
Coming in for redemption from run 1. Oh, man.
All right, so question, boys.
What do you got?
When you have a shocker run 1 at Rampage, which is different from at any other event, what is that mental chatter like as you come back up in to the start gate to have to do it again?
There's so much pressure because the first run, you always got in the back of your mind, you have a second chance. And when you're up to run number 2 and you haven't got a run 1 in, it's just insane amount of pressure and it's hard to really perform. And for him to chomp off a fast plant 3 right out of the gates and go down on it, that's a struggle. And you could see Amanda, you could see her rolling her eyes and get super bummed just because she's going to have to deal with a really cranky cam for the next couple weeks. Yeah. How about you, Carson?
It just plays such a big part in your headspace, to go down in your first run and, have all that focus and energy go into that one moment, and to go down in your first run and then have to get back up and gather yourself enough to drop in again and get in that mode again. It's, speaking from prior experience for me, it's rough, going down on your first run and getting back up there and having to actually do it again. And for him, fast plant 3 drop right off the bat, that's a pretty big move, super technical, and it's hard to keep it all in one piece when you have that much on the line.
Yeah, and it kills your momentum. Like, you had a ton of good momentum going in practice, and then game day, you go in and you're firing at all cylinders. You go down, kills your momentum, and then to get back up there and to throw a gnarly trick, that just bodes to Zink's style, where it's just all on the line. I'm all in, frickin' boom, there it is, and that's just how he rides. He's not gonna settle for second or third place. He wants the W, and that's what he that's what he loves, and that's what he's shooting for. And it just bodes to how fierce of a competitor Mr. Zink is. Pretty rad.
No safety dances from him. And it really, when I think about when I first started coming to the event and people were like, yeah, so if someone has a really, really great run, understand that there's a real strong chance that they're not going to take their second run and no one's going to think weird of them. You did everything you wanted to do on your first run. You're safe more than anything. So don't be surprised if people don't take their second runs. And I was like, oh, wow. Well, speaking of balling up that energy to go again, this run from Lacondeguy was just an example of what this dude is made of. To be like, oh, you thought I was going to come out chill on this second run? Watch this.
Yeah, no. Just firing on all cylinders and super determined. And where this guy, talking about the momentum and all the, that you've just lost going down on your first run, this guy seems like it doesn't even phase him. It just gets him more amped to just send it even harder.
Totally. Yeah, he's coming in hot, riding even quicker than he was in his first run, and I think he was just amped to get down there and just clean up his mistakes from the first run, right here. Boom,
Yeah, look at that. All that flip, and he barely holds on.
So wild.
Oh!
And look at the wind. That wind is crazy.
Crazy side wind, and he's just holding it together like a boss coming down here. Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, it's so painful to watch.
Oh.
like, really? I just did all of that, and now I just threw it away at the bottom of the course on a stupid cork 3?
Yeah.
Oh, and just so you guys know, the cork 3 for him, that's like his basic go-to trick. Like, that guy can do that trick with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see him go down on that.
Crazy. And I think the wind definitely had something to do with him just not getting the speed for that flat spin at the bottom.
Okay, how horrible could that have gone if he'd fallen off that line right as right?
Oh, terrible.
Probably wouldn't have been that sweet.
Like,
not sweet at all.
The most not sweet that not sweet could be.
Yeah, you would fall like 40 to 60 feet into boulders. It wouldn't be pretty.
Yeah, there's a little ravine there. That would have sucked. Yeah, right here, I'm pretty sure that was just wind, man.
Yeah, you look at it, it's like a side headwind.
Yeah, definitely affected him a lot in the air.
And the fact that when he was cork 3ing, mid-spin, that was the plane that the wind was going to catch his bike and wheels at the best kind of angle, so that held them up a bunch.
Yeah, you just turned into like
turns
into like a human kite at that point, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
Would you say, in hindsight, that run could have been a winning run?
Yeah, it could be a top 3 in my opinion.
It would have been up there for sure. Yeah.
It didn't have like the volume of the trick like Carson's, and then Semenuk and Rheeder's, like the height and the trick. But definitely, Audi picked up
Biente. There goes the frame.
Yeah.
Crazy he got so unscathed.
Yeah. Front flips have been my nemesis. Broke my back once on that trick, and actually twice. The last time actually took me out for good. Doing exactly that. The exact same thing that broke my back the last time.
That's heavy. Carson, what did you say at the top of the show, that you're just smart enough to not do them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided a long time ago that, they're just not made for me. I don't work that way. Every time I try and do them, I pop too much. I end up going straight up in the air. I almost missed the foam pit or the airbag. You can ask anybody that's watched me try and front flip. Just not for this guy. Not a front flip guy.
They're not the greatest trick. They don't feel natural. It's not like a backflip, which is like a natural feeling, good feeling trick. It just, everything about it's awkward. You're going to land hard. You got to yank super hard. You got to like lean back and then forward. Yeah, it's just not right. But Tommy G.
I love that the way he just rode out of that 360 to set up.
Yeah, Tommy is a very, very fluid bike rider. It's super fun to watch. One of the most stylish guys out there, and I can't get over that switch spin right there on that horrible jump.
That's so exposed, and like you're rolling up to it, and it just looks like this massive lip into like the oblivion space in behind. Super creepy.
And a switch spin on something like that is probably one of the most heavy things you could do, which is wild.
Yeah. That trick can mess with your head on a big bike, that's for sure.
For sure.
Opts for the tuck on that one, where last run he ended up doing a cork 3 and come up short and bailed hard.
Yeah, came through.
Yeah, I did a bit of a safety at the end, but smart move. Looks a
how long does this day sort of energy wise get to you? Like I'm always blown away that you guys have anything left in the tank for second runs.
Well, you put so much into it. It's like, if you didn't get what you wanted, you know that if you don't give it your all, you're going to go home cranky and bitter. And speaking from experience, it's way better to go down hard trying than it is to go away without trying hard enough.
Yeah, well said.
Back up to Mr. Ethan Nell.
The local boy.
E-boy coming in. I just wish he would spin that drop.
Yeah, that's such a
the whole
basic go-to. He's probably too sketched on this massive flip out of this corner.
Yeah, that thing
Oh!
looks.
That's
Ooh, he almost died on that. So close.
That step down flip is definitely probably one of the sketchiest step down flips ever done.
Yeah.
Looking at that thing in real life, whew.
I would imagine that this flat drop flip would be less scary than that crooked step down flip that he's got up earlier.
I would rather do this than flip
Yeah.
that.
Which is still terrifying.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
Yo.
boom, get the flat spin.
Yeah.
Cleans it
He
up.
got the speed and no wind on that one.
yeah. He was one of the only people in the second run to navigate that thing in one piece.
Yeah, a lot of guys got unlucky with the wind. And out of this event, a lot of times you get lucky or unlucky. It's just as simple as that when it comes to the wind. Like literally the guy before you will roll through and you're like, yep, you made it through, no problem. And then all of a sudden you drop in, flags are calm, halfway down the road. You know,
Yeah.
it's just wild.
How's it when
Variables
you
are endless with this event. So many
How-
things going on.
how's it when you're up there like waiting for that, like, okay, it looks like I've got a gap in the gusts. You tell the starter like, okay, I'm going, and then a third into the run you're like, it's howling harder than it was before I
It's
started.
the worst feeling ever because you're like, screw it. Yeah, no, no. You're like looking at your buddy. You're like, what do you think? What do you think? Like really, you're in such a vulnerable state sitting on the top of the start ramp for run number 2, knowing that you have a window of X amount of time of you sitting there waiting for like your window. And if you pass it up, that's your run. So you have this immense pressure and you're looking at your buddies and you're like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And then you're like, okay, yeah, now it's good. And I don't know, several times, run 2 for me, you drop in and then like literally 10 seconds after I dropped in, I glance up and the flags are blasting and you're just like, oh my God, it's horrible. Not a fun feeling.
It makes me nauseous just to think about as Mr. Wallace takes his second run.
Little step down flip right into a 3.
Sniper of a landing.
Pretty rad.
Yeah. And look at that. He's got some calm winds up top.
Yeah, that's the thing with the sights is sometimes, one side of the hill is exposed more to wind than the other side, and that's just where the luck factor kind of comes into play is, where you choose to build your line. Sometimes it's just the least windiest spot on the mountain.
Yeah, and then right here where he's kind of like timid coming into this line, speaking from someone that's actually judged this event, that's where you can gain points. You can crank that section, go super fast, and your overall like judging score is going to go way up just because you had confidence and you're charging super hard. And so just for all you viewers to just know why like some of the scores are the way they are. So,
that was literally my next question. Just be like, hey, I know it's a really, really technical section, but does it sort of hurt your score when you're taking it cautiously?
Absolutely. If you're charging like Vinny T, it's that style, or Andreu that's just absolutely charging the course, you're going to be rewarded because you're just attacking the course versus very timid, and it just looks better, and that's your overall score. It's going to be a little higher.
Yeah. Overall impression is a big part of your score, and
huge.
Yeah.
Let it run is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You kind of just got to go. And it's hard when you're sitting at the top, and it always gets windier when you're ready to drop in for your second run. I feel like every year I've competed, mornings are always good out there, and the further you get into the afternoon, the worse the winds pick up, and that just goes into play like how important your headspace is when you're dropping into your second run. If you want to charge it, it's like a lot of commitment, and it's hard to get to that mode, when there's all that fear and anxiety, just sitting at the top of waiting to drop in.
And he had a bunch of really, really burly tricks in that run that were exposed.
Yeah, he added in a lot there, like that flip Sui, and then he front flipped that traverse jump.
which was crazy looking. Like
it's a
just
great
that
jump to front
transfer.
flip, though. I will say that.
Step up, flat lip. I wouldn't know, but it seems like it would.
Yeah, but you just got a huge long landing, so if you under rotate, you kind of adjust your trajectory of where you're going to land, and if you over rotate, you just got a big old landing to kind of spot and judge your rotation on your way out. Free ride.
We got Deej dropping in again to his sweet line. Lots of big mountain features throughout.
Yeah, the go-to spin off the top.
Yeah, and then dropping in. I love this shoot. Looks scary, but looks fun.
It'd be super fun to ride.
Yeah.
Just full commitment coming in, grabbing on some brakes.
You would literally, I would be in tears at the thought of that.
One of these days, we'll drag you down some lines there, Sal.
Bro.
Oh, man, coming up a bit short on that one. Always.
You find me like the safest line ever. I trust you.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll get you out for the other event on the other side. We'll take you up there.
There you go. I'm game.
Yeah.
Oh.
A
lot of guys had troubles with that long and low.
Yeah, that thing looked kind of weird.
Yeah, not a lot of speed coming off the drop before it. Kind of a flat landing. Sucks up all your speed.
For sure. DJ coming through with a solid run, making 2 runs down. That's also just a good feeling. Doesn't matter what your score is, just getting down at this event.
Great accomplishment, this guy.
The best feeling.
Dope. And was this his second or is his first? This was his first year competing, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because he got in. First one, yeah, because he got in through the proving grounds.
Yeah. That's a pretty good way to do your first event is to get two clean runs down.
Well, consistency, key.
Totally. Now he has all that momentum going into this year, if he gets the invite back.
Yeah, and all just that confidence, knowing that you can do it. It's just kind of like you don't have that monkey on your back.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our next guest, we're gonna keep it Bend, Oregon local, and welcome in the Steezy, Mr. Reed Boggs, who got 11th at the Rampage. There he is,
Reedy boy.
I think you
might Bend anymore. I'm in Utah right now.
Are you?
We got you.
Nice, buddy. Yeah. How are you?
Doing good. Doing my best to stay active, stay busy during the quarantine times. Luckily, I'm in Utah, so there's not too many restrictions. I'm only 30 minutes from the Rampage zone, so doing my best out here. Loving it.
Stop bragging, bro. Stop bragging.
How are you guys?
We're doing good. Is your garage always so neat and organized, or did you make everything special?
I'm gonna call up BS on that one.
No, man, I'm always organized. Come on.
Yeah, right. Girl probably did it, didn't she?
Come on, that's your dad's garage, man. He keeps his stuff in it.
You just put all your little product placements in there.
Very impressive. Want to take us through your run, bud?
Yeah, last year was pretty awesome. Stoked to get 2 runs down. And second run, just, try to improve a little bit with the foot plant 3 here.
That was dope, by the way.
First run, I just 360'd it. Then goes into my open loop. That one's definitely, small for Rampage, but just a cool feature to add in there. Thought it was a little different.
Yeah, super.
And then, the big drop, the big dog.
Yeah, that thing was a sender.
Thing was super scary to hit in practice, but a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Yeah, commitment.
Reed, what is it?
Then goes into the drop.
No, go ahead.
Yep. So this is the drop Reese and I built all together, and it was a fun build. It was pretty crucial to have 3 different teams on it because it was such a heinous build.
Yeah, Emil helped you a bunch
And
on that. I
then,
remember seeing you guys, right?
yeah, it was cool to share it with those guys.
Yeah. How was it linking up with those guys on that side of the mountain on the end there, seeing as there wasn't much real estate up on that venue?
Yeah, it was we kind of all saw the drop there, so it just was a no-brainer to all team up on it, make it go a little quicker.
Yeah, especially a
So, yeah,
monumental build like that. So nice to have a couple teams.
Reed,
Definitely. You guys know how.
what was the difference for you energy-wise coming in as from being a rookie in 2018 to having one under your belt?
Yeah, just mental game is everything. So having this was just crucial. 2019 was awesome. So 2020 is gonna be even better. That's for sure.
I like the energy. We have your personal camera, your GoPro angle, so you can take us through from that perspective.
Yeah, luckily Utah doesn't have as many restrictions, so we've been still going out there, building, just staying fresh, just practicing. Is pretty much it.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Carson, you got to get down here, buddy.
I
Soon
know.
enough.
I want to soon.
There you are on the right.
There's me. There you go. You built a practice drop to practice that fast plant 3 drop before the event, right?
Yeah, Emil and I both went out to the 12 site and built that just to learn that move for the first drop. So that was beneficial. And then this one, just full gas into it. Scary one.
Yeah. So rad. And then how many days of the build did you guys spend building this new big drop that you guys rode?
Man, I think it was, with 3 teams, it was probably 2 or 3 people there, builders every day almost. It was the whole thing,
so,
and then Emil and I would be somewhere else, and Reed would be somewhere else. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy build. I remember you guys had to work on that thing till the very last second. Always fun being in that position.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's no better feeling than this right here.
Yep. Best feeling in the world. Just getting down.
Yeah, especially having your friends down there and your family. Yeah, it's so cool.
Coming across healthy is a good feeling, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because my first year in Rampage was 2017, and I built this canyon gap, and the day before finals ended up casing it, messing up my shoulder, getting surgery and everything, so I couldn't compete that year. So having 2018 and 2019, it's been awesome.
That is rad.
Bud?
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming through, buddy. It sounds like you're blowing up. So we'll
Yeah,
get
right. I see you on TV. Hey. Rookies, kids these days, eh?
Oh, it keeps going too. Well, enjoy the broadcast, guys. You guys are killing it.
Right on, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Reedy boy.
Stay safe out there.
Kids.
That was epic. I think that was his DMs. Just DMs were lighting up. All right, we got some questions. Cash Money wants to know, how long did it take for you to dig your line, Carson?
So we get 8 full days to build at the events nowadays, and it's pretty much the whole entire time, as much time. It doesn't really matter who it is on the mountain. Pretty much everybody up there is literally working until the event. So yeah, it's just full gas, sun up, sun down, is take the quickest lunch break you can, depending on how much you got on your plate. But it's it's a solid amount of work every year. Undertaking is large, so you use every second you possibly can.
And how do you maintain morale when you're working that hard on your lines?
Oh, it's fun.
You just keep the boys fed. You know, they just need food.
Food is key. All right, Pat Mersh wants to know what rider were guys most excited / nervous to watch?
Carson, you first.
Okay. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like you're so focused in on the task at hand. You have so much to kind of balance in your head that, you know, for me, it's just I'm excited to watch everybody to get down, and I'm nervous for myself and everybody else. You know, it's just the main thing is I just want to see all my friends, you know, get down their lines good and kill it and crush. So I don't know. It's kind of a vague answer to your question, but I'm excited to watch everybody ride there.
And I'll chime in just because I have a different perspective from going from an athlete to now a spectator at this venue. When you're an athlete, you're so honed in on what you need to do, your build, your line. And there's some years where you're like, you hear like, you know, rumors of what other people are doing. And you're like, oh, did you see so-and-so's line? You're like, no, sorry, I've just been walking up my line, digging my line and down every day for 8-9 days. And then come contest time, you'll like, oh, that's where they're lying when you see them maybe practicing it a bit or like during the actual event. And switching that to a spectator, where now I'm actually going around looking at everyone's line, chatting with everyone, you know, throwing my opinions because I like to throw my opinions around to the boys. And, you know, it's totally different from the athlete perspective while you're competing because you're focused on yourself. And then you know your buddies, what they're doing, your tight crew, especially if they're riding or sharing lines with them. So you're kind of feeding off each other. But at the end of the day, it's it's totally different being a spectator. But for me, who am I excited / scared? You know, I'm always scared for Zink's runs just because he's balls to the walls and you never know what he's going to do. And he ain't scared. And other guy recently would be Tom Van Seebergen's, you know, that flat drop flip. That was absolutely insane just because I know the first year that he did it, he was like, yeah, I think I got this, you know, like not doing it on anything very similar and then just going for it, you know, in a Zink fashion, just, yeah, I got this, you know, that's scary. And, you know, mad props to those guys being able to just throw it on the line like that.
For me, it seems to be always Andreu, just because like whenever I see him in the flat bottom, like even days before, he has game day energy every day. So like when you see him, he's just like, hey, yeah, bro, yeah, and you're like, wow, how do you? I couldn't even imagine running at that speed 24/7, and throwing myself on a mountain with that kind of energy. And of course, he doesn't disappoint. He makes you like every time.
Wow.
For sure.
Yeah, but whole field is nuts. Kyle Straight.
Big Daddy Lyle. I was really stoked. I convinced him to spin this first drop. I think that was my favorite part of the day is watching him spin this thing.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, a little foot, but yeah, pushing himself right there.
What's that conversation like?
Well, I knew deep down that he wanted to do it, and he brought it up to me. So there's really not much I could say to him to convince him to do it. It was kind of just reassuring him and just being like, dude, you know what you're doing. You're an OG, you know? Like, who said old dogs can't learn new tricks? And I was psyched to put that down.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a crazy thing about
right there.
So rad.
Okay. I don't know if his foot came off. I don't know if he meant to do that, but it might have been wind.
I think it was wind.
Oh, right here.
Oh.
He let the arms dangle a little bit too long, didn't pull hard enough.
And once again, you know, getting through your whole run and all those nerves built up on all, like he was probably most nervous about this 3 than anything else. And then once he finished that and then this big drop and his kind of mind almost shuts off a bit just because you're so prepped and amped for the big stuff. And you just threw it all the way at the bottom.
For sure. Yeah, he definitely went for it right there. Did lots of tricks.
I think anybody else would have just blown apart on that landing, but the kid's so freaking strong, he was able to muscle it out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he did more damage to the landing than the landing did to him.
Totally.
Yeah.
There's probably a big ass indent in there.
Big old bomb hole.
Poor dirt.
Yeah, you
Look at
can
that.
see how it slowed you down.
I love how in the slow-mo you could see him go for that reach to try and pull it back in again just before he bails. Be like, oh, wait. Yeah, that's not going to work out.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Too far gone.
Well, we welcome back in Mr. Brett Rheeder, our 2018 champ. Hey there, bud. How are
Hey
you?
guys, I'm good. How are you guys?
We are doing a whole lot of something in the midst of doing nothing, enjoying this little flashback. How about you? You've been enjoying it?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Just chilling at the house. I can't do much because I've had a knee injury that I'm getting back from. So just been hanging out with Casey and Matt at the house here. Been watching all you guys on Instagram. That's about it. Working on my physio.
When did you have the surgery?
I had the surgery on March 17th. It's like just over 1 month ago.
And how goes the rehab?
It's actually been going really good. There's like not a whole lot to do other than like wake up and just make sure that I do all the physio like exactly how it needs to be done. There's like nothing more interesting throughout the day to do, so I'm just like putting my head down and getting all the little physio repetitions and stretching and all that stuff. So it's been going pretty good actually.
Yeah, it's a good time to have surgery. You're not missing any events, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't have asked for a better time to have it done. How are you guys doing?
We're good, bud.
Doing great.
Just watching everyone's Rampage runs, eh?
Yeah, get you fired up.
Take us through yours and start off with this kit because extra point for the kit.
I wanted that kit in 2018, but I wasn't able to. The colors came in a little bit orange, so I opted for a black kit the year before, and yeah, this year finally the kit turned out. It was true red and white. Yeah, so coming into my first drop here, which is never a fun one to hit. I actually remember hitting it for the first time, and Carson was right there watching me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember Carson.
I remember that. Yeah, I think that's the gnarliest way off that top ridge there. And it was definitely kind of like, I don't know, you're asking me if it looks good and if the run out looks okay, and I'm like, it looks good to me, it looks gnarly, but I think baddest way down right there. So props.
Yeah, thank you. That one I pushed myself on. Every year before that, I was like always opting for like the easier, safer lines down because I was so scared of everything Rampage had to offer. And then when we had that new venue in 2018, I was like, fuck, I really gotta push myself this year and try to find something that's sizable. And luckily that line came.
It wasn't
Came
easy
to us.
That.
No.
You guys had to work for it.
Uh-oh.
And the Skype connection is lost. Let's see how long it takes the tech people to get them back in.
Shout out to our tech team that are all finding out in real time what it's like to produce and direct a show from their respective homes. What they've done for us technology-wise the last week, just getting this thing to be a reality is insane. And we are stoked on them big time. And I don't know if we're going to get Brett back, but it was nice of him to jump in with us. How crazy is that pull that he had to do on that flip? Like, it looks like he just has to yank literally everything he has blind to send it on it.
So blind. Wild.
That trick is like probably the most exhausting trick you can do, especially when you do your first few. It's like you give it everything you have. You pull and like you use your legs a bunch, and it's just like kind of everything you got to get that pop and snap. And especially on a big bike. Yeah, and Brett is the master of flat drop flips, tossing in a can in that one, getting all corked out. So yeah, props to Brett for piecing together an epic run. That was like one of the all-time in my mind. Like, yeah, it's one of the most solid runs probably ever done. And yeah,
Brett. Well, we appreciate him coming by. We're not going to be able to get him back, so we will keep it moving.
Back to Storch. What you got in run number 2, bud?
This is one of those moments that you're like, it encapsulates what Rampage is about.
Yeah, I just wanted to take the momentum from my first run and just clean stuff up and just ride quicker, ride more solid. And yeah, it was one of those things where I just had to charge hard. I wanted to do the same thing, ride it faster, and then get down to the end of my line and just toss a big super flip. That was my goal. And
what were you sitting in? What place were you here?
I dropped down a bit. I think I was in like 6th or 7th. I ended up getting 8th in 2019. So, I was in the mix in top 10. Not exactly where I wanted to be, but yeah. So it all kind of fell on this run. I had to put it together and ride faster, ride more solid, and all the little details just up them. Like right here, decided to flip that jump and
smart move.
Re-drop. I did it better. I didn't over-rotate as much, but yeah, tire came off the bead, my tube exploded, and kind of nothing I could do. I didn't even realize what was going on until, my rear wheel just got all sucked up and locked in there because my tube wrapped around my derailleur.
You should have made a little giraffe with that and handed it to one of the kids in the fan.
Yeah. Man, I couldn't believe it. It was like the run of my life. Everything was working so good. I felt I was having so much fun. And yeah, thanks to that guy for saving the day and stabbing my tube, popping that thing would have hurt my ears if it exploded next to my head.
I just love the how hard the crowd went for you, even after you had the equipment malfunction. Like, they cheered louder then in honor of you than any other time in the run.
Yeah, and how about that crowd? I'm going to give a big shout out to the crowd at Rampage. Man, they are absolutely awesome to see and hear, and that energy coming from the crowd section it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
What is it like to sort of like harness that energy from them? Do you feel their presence in the run?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's not like a normal slopestyle contest where you're surrounded by a bunch of fans and you can hear them, but they're down there, and you know that your mom and dad, girlfriend or wife, kids, whatever, they're all down at the finish corral, and it's like a good feeling knowing that like all you got to do is drop in and have fun and get your stuff done, and you get down there and you got all the support in the world right there and the best fans you could ever ask for. And yeah, so you definitely feel it, but you don't particularly hear them. You just hear a helicopter going and nerves at the top.
Here comes Simon. I didn't hear you.
one of the creepier ones to start off with, that flip.
Oh, yeah.
He almost goes
blew
down.
that. Oh. This is definitely like probably the simpler part of most people's runs, that little spine right there, but there's no fall zones all around it. Even like as soon as you hit that first little drop, you can't really screw up.
Yeah, and he was only one of 3 to hit the super long gap on that section, correct?
I think there was more people, but not a lot. But yeah, that big drop. I think they called it the Price is Right.
Yeah.
That thing was sweet. I was jealous. It looked terrifying to guinea pig, but
Yeah,
from there
once
on
it's
out,
in,
everybody
it's
was
good
just
to
having
go.
a good old time just sending that thing. Oh yeah.
Oh!
Riding that out like a champ.
Yeah.
Riding that like you planned it.
Yeah, right? He's getting all trendy and trying to do the Manny out of the fronty. For the gram.
Why do some riders choose to ride tubeless as opposed to tubes?
Less spinning inertia.
Explain the science of that, please.
Sorry.
Rotating weight.
Yeah, so like especially when you're doing 360s and whatnot, when you spin a tire, the more weight that you have on your tube tire area, it's just going to be harder to spin. And then the downfall is if you burp the tire, you're going to lose all your air. And say if you burp a tire like right there, big jump like that, you're going to have 5 pounds less or whatnot. I know most of the guys run tubes in the back and tubeless up front. What do you run, Carson?
I usually just stick with tubes front and rear. Whenever I run tubeless out there, I end up riding like some of the local trails, kind of the stuff that we warm up on, like King Kong Trail. And I've exploded so many tires running tubeless. I'll just like hit a drop, whatever, slap a berm, and my tire will just explode. Because you run a lot of PSI out there in your tires, and
yeah,
I find it doesn't work for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I can get away with the front, but definitely not on the rear because I always like to get a little zesty on my threes, just like yourself.
Yeah.
Appreciate the insight. Well, Tyler McCaul kind of set the tone in his first run, like let's go.
Oh.
It was nice to have him on earlier.
Yeah.
Totally. Flip table again, right off the bat. Pretty heavy move.
I love this shot.
Was the harder ways to get off that finger.
Yeah, it was hard, but it wasn't. It wasn't scary.
Hard, but it was definitely one of the better ways off.
Honestly, looking back at it, I wish it was gnarlier.
True.
Because as soon as you hit it once, you're like, oh, this is pretty chill.
Yeah. It's just.
T-Mac was trying to build a triple where he'd drop like way down into it, and I was going to team up with him, and I don't know why we never really finished doing it, and he ended up going off the top more than me and Andreu and Tommy G and Vinny T. So he definitely rode that thing the best. But yeah, that thing was pretty mellow. There's Shyler, Skyler, Bonnie, the whole fam.
Yeah.
Cam's right over there in the corner, announcing.
I remember Cam just losing it in the booth. Like, he was trying his best to not be partial to his brother, but at a certain point, like watching his brother get 2 full pulls, he just was like,
yeah,
all right, I gotta stop. I'm gonna stop being the analyst for a second and like let you know what it's like to be in this body watching my brother have this moment. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So rad. Yeah, stoked for him to get a good result.
Yeah. I can't tell from that angle, but I didn't know if he got the if it can with that flip, but he definitely pulled for it and got his feet floating.
Yeah.
But yeah, all around, that's a solid run. He upped it from his first run. Somehow got a lower score.
Yeah, right. Gotta love
yeah.
judge sports.
I remember there being a look of puzzled energy, like an awkward silence in the broadcast, like, okay, and we'll move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Cam McCaul, tell us what you really think of that score. Yeah, Fairclough.
Can't believe we were just hanging with Brendan from London, watching this look back.
Pretty crazy technology.
I really like this drop. Super creepy, and like you don't want to mess up on the landing.
That whole top part of his line is so tech and tight, and especially dropping off that pre-built flat drop at the top to the right.
Yeah.
His POV really showed how techy that all is up there. Like, it doesn't look that fun to ride, but he's the boss.
Push-ups. Yeah, and some push-ups for Jordi. You can see how he was just so happy with his first run.
Good on him.
Yeah, that was such a cool special moment. Yeah. And those are pretty legit all the way through. I mean, you give or take a few inches down at the chest area, but we're not going to judge. And this right here is a victory lap.
Yep.
For the guy who's probably riding his bike right now, Brandon Semina. He probably just was like, okay, am I done? Cool, I'm going to get back to work. And it really is something like there's certain people in each sport across the landscape where you're like, that guy's playing with a different set of skills and an ability to like hone them to any situation. What is it about Brendan that just makes him set apart from the rest?
Determination. 100% determination. You know, the kid trains so hard. He's had a goal in his mind since he was a little grom. You know, growing up in Whistler, seeing all of us shred the events, you know, it was right out of his front doorstep. And, you know, he saw that, and that was his dream, and he was going to work as hard as he possibly could to achieve that dream. And his success is a result of exactly that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he's just always been one step ahead of everybody that he competes with. And yeah, that definitely goes to show he's just so determined to just dominate. I don't know. He's the man.
Yeah, absolutely dominated the sport. And, you know, he can, you know, similar to some of the other guys, you know, he can put whatever he puts his mind to, he can achieve. And, you know, a case of hard work pays off, and this guy's put the time in. That's for sure.
Yeah. I wonder. Oh, sorry, Sal.
No, I was just saying, especially coming off of like that supreme shocker of both runs in 2018. Like, he had a horrible rampage.
Yeah.
For sure.
That no doubt made it
hard. But like, the one thing that I want to say is just like how he changed the game from like, you know, my era of slope style, which was, you know, go out, learn some tricks, hang out, ride some bikes, crush some beers, to like where he rolled in, it was just train, and just have put so much time and dedication to the sport where it just took it to that next level of just like perfectionism in his riding. And, you know, it truly shows how dialed he is in all of his tricks. It's impressive to see that next generation, you know, go from, you know, our generation, which was pretty loose because it was all new and fun and fascinating and, you know, like free sort of thing. And then his generation, which is just absolutely dial everything in right to the latest, smallest inch. It's really, really cool to see.
Yeah. He's always been the guy that just sets the mold. Like, everybody's trying to ride like him, be like him, do the tricks that he does, especially when he was dominating the slopestyle world. And yeah, he was the guy to beat, and nobody really could for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that right there, that is the epitome of what every mountain biker wants to do. Stand at the top of the Red Bull Rampage podium with the #1 spot. And you know what? Well deserved to that guy.
Well, for me to be able to watch it with two former podiumers like yourselves and get this little insight, this was I knew it would be fun, but this was way more than I ever could have imagined. And I hopefully for the folks watching around the world, they feel the same way. But I really appreciate you guys hanging, man. And like I said, man, all we can do is just hope and put out that energy for the people who are going through this in ways that we couldn't imagine, that we'll be able to get past this point and be able to be together again at really an event that is a pinnacle, not just for freeride mountain biking, but for the entire landscape of action sports and sports in general. You know, this is one of the most unique, special demonstrations of what athleticism is in the world. And I'm honored to get to be a part of it, but, you know, to get to do it with you guys like this is pretty cool.
Awesome, buddy. It's been a pleasure. I'm having fun.
Nice. Well, all I ask for either one of you guys is stay healthy, stay safe, and take care of yourselves. And we'll see you on the back end. And for all you folks that tuned in for this look back at 2019's Red Bull Rampage, thank you for hanging out. Once again, congratulations to Brandon Semenuk, and thanks again to him for taking some time out to spend some time with us, and all of our guests, and to our entire crew that worked so hard to make this thing happen. Like the man hours and the tech hours that went down, and these guys know we've been rehearsing to get this right, to make it capable technically to do this from all over the world for days, and it's really a testament to what all of the people that work behind the scenes at Red Bull TV and their commitment to the culture really is. Because like, we didn't have to do this. You easily could have just played replays, but the team got together and said, hey, how can we get together? How can we get everyone to feel like a collective, feel some sense of being in community, even though we're going through the craziest time in the history of one of the craziest times in the history of our modern era. And this is special. And I know that for the people that are watching, and just from all the notes I've been getting, that they're receiving it as such. So again, thank you guys. We're going to try and do another version of this soon. I can't say what will be next, but something else is coming in the next couple of weeks. You boys take care of yourselves.
Likewise, bud. Good hanging, and rock on, folks.
Right on. Thanks everybody for watching. Take care.
Rest in peace, Jordan.